Right. Well, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you might be joining us from. My name is JC Fry, and I'm the director of the Kearney Center for International Student Services at Minnesota State Mankato. And we're really happy to be connecting with you today. And I have some amazing colleagues on this webinar with me who are excited to talk to you about the programs and the colleges that they are teaching in, and provide you an opportunity to learn more about what our great university has to offer. Mm-hmm. So we currently have about 15,000 students on our campus, and within that, there's over 1,100 international students from over 95 countries. We're a very diverse campus, a small, safe community, and we have a great campus environment for you to do to do your learning and do your research and find awesome opportunities for you to enhance your academics. And so with that, I would like to hand it over to my colleagues. They're going to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit more about where they're from and what they're doing at our university.
Should we go in alphabetical order, maybe?
Great idea. Yes.
That brings me to the forefront, right? Hello, everyone. My name is Kuldeep Agarwal. I'm a faculty in the Department of Automotive and Manufacturing Engineering Technology here at MSU. I've been here at MSU since 2012. So I'll complete my 9 years in June here. I'm originally from New Delhi, India. So I joke this, when I first told my dad that I'm moving to Mankato, he asked me, so how big is the city? I said 50,000 people. And he joked, he said, if I stretch my arms in New Delhi, I'll probably touch 50,000 people around here. So, but I've been here 9 years and I love it. It's a great place. We have a great university, a great community. People are just amazing. I learn something new every day, which makes me even more in awe with the place I am in. So with that, I'll give it to Rachel. I guess that's her with the alphabetical order.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. I'm Rachel Cohen. I am a faculty member here in the Department of Biological Sciences. I haven't been here nearly as long as Kuldeep. This is my 8th year, so one less year, I guess. And I'm actually originally from Southern California. So one thing I can speak to is the transition, learning how to live in Minnesota with the winters, which has been quite fun actually. So I enjoy seeing snow, but yeah.
So next will be me then. Hi, my name is Puteri Hamari. I'm a faculty in the electrical and computer engineering and technology. I've been here same year as Kuldeep, so we came in the same year. So it will be 9 years this June, and I really love being a faculty here at MNSU. The faculties are very friendly. We help each other grow professionally, and then we love assisting our students for their success. And in our department, ECET, one of the research facility that we have is the microfabrication labs that, for me personally, I feel like it's a really advantage for the students to take to be part of. I certainly did not have experience, hands-on experience in that when I was doing undergraduate here. So I feel like this. I know that this MNSU, it's a really good university, and it provide provide top notch of facility in terms of teaching and research. So I, really love being here, and hope students are also, coming and then enjoy and then learn a lot here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Samantha Katner. I'm a faculty in the Biochemistry, Chemistry, and Geology department. I teach mostly biochemistry courses. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. And we're just going to get right into, I'm going to ask you some questions and feel free to, answer them. And if you have additional things you want to add, by all means, please do so. So for the viewers here, the faculty we're talking to are, they belong to our College of Science, Engineering, and Technology. And within that college, those programs, the majority of them, if not all, are, STEM related, right? And in order for you to be really prepared for a STEM major at Minnesota State Mankato, I'd like to ask the faculty here, what do you suggest to these high school students, these secondary students that we're reaching out to? What classes would you advise them to focus on and take in preparation for a STEM major at Minnesota State Mankato? And Kuldeep, do you want to answer that?
Yeah,
one
I can
first?
answer from engineering and engineering technology point of view, and Puteri can back me up if that's correct. We recommend that students have some sort of a pre-calculus and if possible, some sort of an early calculus. So calculus 1 kind of a course in terms of math. So for students who don't know what calculus 1 means, calculus 1 is more differentiation and calculus 2 is integration portion of calculus. So we would recommend for students who want to join in engineering or engineering technology have some sort of a pre-calculus or calculus 1 when they start. If they don't have it, that's not such a deal breaker because you can always start college and take a pre-calculus class and then move on. It just means that you might have to adjust a few courses in your early first or second year kind of a thing. From physics point of view, we recommend having some sort of a high school physics, and then when you join, you can take depending on what program you are in, you can take a calculus-based physics or an algebra-based physics. And we want you to have some sort of a chemistry in high school. So if you have 1 year of chemistry, 1 year of physics, and some sort of a pre-calculus calculus, I think those are the courses. In terms of engineering technology, specifically, if you want to join a field like mechanical engineering, manufacturing engineering technology, automotive engineering technology, we also recommend that you take some sort of shop classes. So some sort of machining, woodworking, some sort of those classes which help you learn the trades kind of a thing, and which will help you do more of a hands-on applied education because we have a lot of hands-on and applied education.
Yeah, I agree with Kuldeep. We focus, students have a background in pre-calculus, very good for the engineering program. For students who are interested more in the technology program, it's okay if you didn't have any pre-calculus, but at least algebra or trigonometry and then later you can take a calculus here. So, and the sciences, of course, high school sciences, recommended to have at least you have some sort of a background in science. And that's it. I guess that's a good preparation to come to the program.
I would say for a biology degree, it's not quite as stringent of a requirement for math. Math is good. So if you do take a pre-calc or a calc class, that's going to make it easier for you to get into other courses or pass out of taking more math classes, but it's not as critical. College algebra is important because that'll get you into chemistry courses, which are really important for biology. But if you can't take that in your first semester, that's also okay. We do have a mechanism in place for you to take some of those early math courses to get you to where you need to be to take the courses that you need for your major. It just, like Kuldeep and Puteri were saying, it just kind of changes your early couple semesters a little bit. The other thing for us is, again, also try to take chemistry in high school because that'll set you up to take chemistry in college. I'd also recommend if you are interested in biology and have the option to take biology in high school is to take it and see if that's what you like. The earlier you can just kind of find out what's interesting to you and what you're interested in, I think is it's going to help you because it'll help you decide if this is the kind of major you want or if there's something else, and that'll make it easier for you in college to just kind of know where you want to go. And I'd say that's kind of probably the big courses for high school to take. And if you don't have those, that's okay too, right? We have introductory courses for a reason. It just is a little nicer to have that background before you come.
True.
In biochemistry and chemistry and geology is the same as my colleagues have just mentioned. Math is definitely going to help you building that foundation in any of these majors. If you can do pre-calculus, calculus, that's just going to set you up for an easier semester, especially your first year or two. And especially trying to do chemistry would just set you up so that you are a little bit more successful in general chemistry. So you have more of a foundation. If you're not able to take any of these courses during your high school, I definitely recommend over the summer, like before you start college, maybe getting your textbook early and reading through that, or reading through any old textbooks like for chemistry or math, or especially biology too. Just building that foundation so it's not like completely new to you when you first hear like molarity.
Thank you. Just to add to that, is there any other suggestions that you have that students could do to prepare for a STEM major while they're still in high school? Are there any suggestions you have as to, opportunities they should seek out before coming here?
I guess if you have, if you at your high school, if there is some sort of science club or science fair or something like that, definitely participate in that if that's something of interest to you. Just getting kind of that experience is always a good thing, and I think helps. Especially when you come to college, it's a big transition. And having some of those experiences helps with that transition because it makes it makes your classes a little bit more tangible, I'd say. And so it's a little easier to basically succeed as a college student. So definitely seek out those opportunities as they come up.
Another point I wanted to add was, as a high school student, students have a certain view of what their major will look like in college. And in sciences, I cannot speak to sciences particularly, but in engineering, students start like in mechanical, civil, electrical, manufacturing, or automotive engineering. Students start and they think that, oh, I'll immediately start designing and making things. That's what engineering seems to them. And then the first year mostly is a lot of math, physics, chemistry, and some department courses. We do have students who take a few department courses. I think our students take 1 to 2 department courses each semester in their first year, but the bulk of it actually starts in the second and the third year. So one thing I would advise students is explore, like Rachel said, explore what your major means to you, because when you start, if you start in manufacturing engineering, it's not like you'll start with manufacturing stuff the first year. You need foundational knowledge. Watch YouTube videos of what these particular fields feel like. Talk to people you know. Visit some industries in your area to talk to engineers who are in that field, so that you have a clear idea of what each engineering or engineering technology entails.
And I would like to add, interest. If you have interest, I think that's a very good foundation in whatever that you plan to do in the future. So yes.
And then also any volunteer opportunities that are available to you during high school. Probably more maybe in your summer, like your junior year of your summer or your senior year, your last 2 years of high school. You might want to start trying to make those connections for volunteer opportunities, like volunteering at a hospital. There are several different programs in which you can do that, or shadowing different professions so that you can start to understand if you want to be a pharmacist, so shadow a pharmacist for a day, and also shadow another pharmacist. So don't just shadow one person, shadow another person so you can get two different points of views.
Those are great suggestions. Thank you. So when a student applies to Minnesota State Mankato, on their application, they identify their desired major. And then the Kearney Center creates their I-20, which is what they take to their visa appointment. And they talk to the visa officer about the school they're attending, that they want to attend, and that the program they want to study. Well, we all know that just because you apply to the university and indicate your desired major, that doesn't mean you're accepted into the actual major. And so we're trying to help students understand that as soon as possible. So if you wouldn't mind, could you talk a little bit about what the requirements are to be actually admitted into your major, into your program?
I can go first. So biology doesn't have an admittance to major. If you declare the major, then you are a biology major. We do have some requirements to continue on as a biology major. So you have to get a certain GPA in your courses. You have to take a certain course or a certain set of courses, but there's no admittance policy. So if you declare the biology major, you would be a biology major.
Excellent, thank you. I just learned something.
I would, for ECT, for electrical and computer engineering and technology, you are in the program for the first 2 years, and then you will be admitted to the program typically after you have finished certain credits in our program with at least C and above, C minus and above. So that the pre courses are typically in maths, physics, and chemistry. And also we like in the MET manufacturing. So we do also ask students to take our department's course, like one course in a semester for the first year. So that's kind of like give an introduction to the students. But like I said earlier, so we do have to admit students after they have finished certain credits in our program.
It's the same like Puteri said in automotive and manufacturing engineering technology. So the first 2 years, you are provisional admission into the major. That's what we call. So before you take the 300, 400 level, which is the junior and senior year classes, you have to finish a few courses and get a C or above in them. They include statistics, they include English, they include communication studies, they include math, physics, chemistry, and a few of the department classes. So you do have to take a few of the department classes. And then if you get above a C in all of them, then you're admitted into the major, and then you can start taking the 300, 400 level classes. But that does not mean that you cannot involve yourself into the major straight away. As soon as you declare yourself as a manufacturing engineering technology student or an automotive engineering technology student, you can start participating in the seminars we have, in the labs we have. You can start helping the senior students in their senior design projects. You can start all of that. Just for the sake of taking those junior and senior year courses, that's where you have to complete a set of courses.
Pretty much the same thing for biochemistry, chemistry, and geology, where there's no official paperwork required to be admitted into the program, at least for the first 2 years. And then you would declare your major so that you could take 300 level and 400 level courses. So in your junior year, you're year 3, then you would need to be declared as your major. Some people declare much earlier that, and that's great, so that they can have an advisor that is in the program that they are looking forward to declaring in.
Great, thank you so much. When we're out recruiting students, oftentimes some of their first questions are, what kind of internships do these programs have? And how can my faculty help me get connected to internship opportunities? And I would love to hear more about that from each of you.
think I'll go first again in biology. So in biology, we don't have any formalized internships. So we don't have any partnerships that would set students up for an internship. We do have a mechanism for students to take internship courses though. So basically how it works is a student would maybe have a connection with, you know, a local company or something. And then they would work for that company while also taking an internship credit. And we usually work with that company or the individual that is your supervisor to come up with learning objectives for your internship and things like that. And that's how you get that credit. But we don't have any formalized internships available.
Well, in our program, our students, most of all of them do some sort of internship. Again, it's not very formal in the sense that we don't invite companies to come on campus, but the Career Development Center has engineering fair where most of the companies in the region and otherwise come to campus and they have internships every year. In fact, right now the situation is there are more internships positions available than we have students to apply for internships. Most of our students in the last few years have done internships. And if a student is interested in internship, they approach one of the faculty or their advisor, and then we go out and connect with our contacts if the student is unable to find something, and then we help them find internships that way. So we encourage internships after starting after sophomore year. So sophomore and junior year is when they definitely do internships. And we also have a program called co-op program. So where the students actually work as an intern or a part-time worker at a company along with doing their education. So they can take reduced course load during the school year and work with the company if they so desire.
Yeah, in our program also much the same as what Kuldeep said. And we have, many opportunity for students to internship for the local companies. And I would like to highlight that or stress that every semester the career development host career center, career and internship fair. In the spring, especially, it's more specialized for engineering and technology programs that is sponsored by the IEEE branch. So all the companies that come are really looking forward to meet or to look for candidates in doing either internships or the real position in the company. So that happens every February, every year in February to recruit students. So typically faculty will advise students to look forward to it, and then but those students who looking forward for the internship, you typically will get that by the summer and the following fall semester.
And for chemistry, biochemistry, and geology, we don't typically have internships, partnerships with industries, but there is a mechanism for that. So if you are interested, if a student is interested, then you can come talk with us and we can try to set something up. But we actually more encourage research at the university. So conducting research in our laboratories, we try to encourage that at the beginning of at least the junior year. If you can start the sophomore year, that would be great. But we encourage more research. And then we also have like our clubs, the pre-pharmacy club and the biochemistry club and the chemistry club actually have recruiters come down from other universities. So if you're planning on going to medical school or pharmacy school, we have recruiters that come down and that you can meet with those recruiters to help you get your foot in the door through that way if you're thinking of a pre-professional school.
And that's true in biology too. We have a lot of research opportunities for students. So many of our students, instead of internships, do research with faculty. And we also have, similar to the chemistry, biochemistry, and geology department, we have clubs, student-led clubs on campus that help basically provide opportunities to meet with recruiters for medical school, physician assistant school, dental school, those sorts of things.
Thank you. This is a great segue. The next item on my list was research and experiential learning opportunities. So thank you, Samantha and Rachel, for talking about what's currently available in your programs. If there's anything else you want to add about research, maybe research programs or opportunities or any experiential learning, and then we can let Kuldeep and Puteri chime in when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on about research.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty common for almost every faculty in our department to have several undergraduate research students. And so that usually is the student contacting the faculty member saying, hey, I'm interested in your research, and then kind of building a relationship from there. It's often a student I've had in my classes, or something similar like that, where I've met the student, we know each other a little bit, and then they start working in my lab doing a research project. We have a lot of equipment available on campus, everything from a confocal microscope, which is a very, very fancy laser-driven microscope. We have quantitative PCR machines. So we have a lot of state-of-the-art equipment that our undergraduate students get to work with and learn. So if that's something that you are interested in, we definitely have a lot of opportunities for that in the biology department. And then just on campus in general, we have an undergraduate research center where you can apply for graduate grants to get money to fund your research. There's a lot of presentation opportunities on campus and off campus. So we have a really big focus at our university on research. And I'm sure all my colleagues will tell you just the same thing, because it's a very big thing on campus. So if you want to do research and you come here, you'll probably be able to.
Right, and same thing for chemistry, biochemistry, and geology. We end up sharing equipment between the biosciences department and other departments as well. Typically, our majors do research. We do encourage that. They usually come to us either if that we've had them in a course. Most of the time I haven't had my students in a course, and they just come to me and say that they're really interested in my research and they want to do research with me. So I usually let them in, and we give a trial run for the first semester. But there are opportunities to get research credit, so credit towards your major. And as well as if you're thinking about doing research, I would highly just recommend typing in MNSU and then biochemistry or biology or the other departments that are here, and then looking up their faculty, because the faculty have their research listed by their names. And if you click on their names, it will tell a little blurb about what research that they do. So I do highly recommend that you look at the research statements that each professor has, so that you can pick a research that you're interested in. Because if you're not interested in the research, it's not going to go as smoothly, and you want to be more invested in the research if it's interesting to you.
And just to add, we do also in the biology department have research credit. So you can actually basically exchange one of your upper level electives for 4 credits of research if you want to.
Well, in engineering, we don't do a lot of research as such. It's more industry and practical driven, but we do have research like biology, chemistry, and other sciences. Some of the faculty, like I personally am very much into research. And so some of the faculty do a lot of research, and we recruit students. So basically what happens is the students approach the faculty into the field they're interested in, or they take a class and they're like, this is a cool professor, I want to work with them. And then they come up and say, if you're working on something important or cool, I want to join your research team. So it's much more informal, but we have the same mechanism. If you are interested in research, you can take research courses. If you're interested in presenting your work, we have avenues. Like Rachel said, the Undergraduate Research Center is huge on campus. So we have great mechanisms to do research, present research, and get paid to do research. So that's the cool part about it.
Yes, I think Rachel's very good about the opportunity that students can gain doing research and also the opportunity how to involve in research. And I believe that this year is the first program that the URC is implementing, where students approach the career and then have a mentor assigned to them, and then there will be, involved in doing research. So I just posted my labs link in the chat, and then you can see that most of my students are undergraduate students, and they really, enjoy working, and then they are all over the world, come from mostly international students, and they're very involved because, with the activities and research activities that we have on campus.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we're right about at the halfway mark, and we've got just a couple more topics I think we should touch on. As you are working with your students and they're coming to the end of their program and they're getting ready for graduation, and then that next step of career placement, I'm not sure if you have the data available, but you might be able to talk to just anecdotally about what you know about your graduates. How is their career placement and their competitiveness when it comes to looking for work in their field of study when they're done?
Mm-hmm. I can go first. So basically, our whole department has around 350 students, and we have about 40 master students. And each year there are about 35 engineering students that are that graduate every year. Our students basically employed by a lot of the companies in Minnesota. So basically Minnesota is a very heavily manufacturing state. So most of our graduate goes to Intel, IBM, Seagate. We have graduate that work in Honeywell, Medtronics, 3M, Cummins, and Hutchinson Technology, so many other small and medium scale companies. So they love our students because we offer hands-on practical and hands-on activities. So students are very involved in either design and also troubleshootings in engineering. So yeah, so that's from my department, yes.
And for automotive and manufacturing engineering technology, it's exactly the same. We have around 200 students, including our master's students in our program. And we graduate about 35 of them every year. And most of them have a job before they graduate. Mm-hmm. So, and international students have the same success rate in finding jobs as our domestic students, if not better. I mean, and our students work as project managers, they work as design engineers, testing engineers. They work for companies like Ford, Toyota, Tesla. We have quite a few students who have joined Tesla in the last few years. Polaris, Arctic Cat, 3M, Best Buy. I mean, you name a company and you'll find one of our alumni, if not directly our alumni, one of the alumni from MSU there. So and it's always that once one of our students is in an organization, they realize the value we bring, our students bring to the table, and then it's just a given. I mean, they just keep hiring. At the recruitment fair, it's fun to see your ex-students actually come and recruit new students. So when you go to recruitment fair or career fair, you'll see our students coming back to recruit because they just do a phenomenal job.
Mm-hmm.
So biology is a much larger department. So we have anywhere between 700 and 800 just undergraduates, and then another 30 or so graduate students. Biology is also very diverse in terms of what students want to do. So we have students that want to go the pre-professional route and go to medical school, pharmacy school, dental school, those sorts of things. But we also have students that want to do research, go to get a PhD, or they want to go on into work at a, kind of a conservation company, work at our Department of Natural Resources, things like that. So it's science writing even, so there's a really big kind of diversity in terms of what our students actually go out and do. But they are very successful. So we do have a lot of our students that want to go to medical school, for example. We have a pre-med advisory club that actually Samantha is also part of. And we basically do a mock interview for our students that are going to apply to medical school, and then write them a committee letter of recommendation, which is a lot of what medical schools are requiring nowadays. And of those students that we do that for, almost all of them get into a medical school. So we've had really good success with that. Students that want to go to vet school tend to get in, students that want to go to graduate school, get a PhD or a master's degree tend to get in. So our students have been very successful. It's just that it's so diverse in terms of what opportunities you have with a biology degree, being a lab tech or, going and being a field researcher, right? There's a lot of different things you can do. So it's really hard to keep track of what specifically our students get into, but they do have a lot of success in getting to that next step in their career, whether it's continuing on in their education with professional or graduate school, or getting a job right out of college.
Yeah, so what I've seen and talked to with students is that they are very successful across departments. They are getting into the dental schools and not just they're getting into the schools, but they're getting into their top choices as well. And that's very important to not have to do your last resort school. So we do set our students up for success at this university across the departments. So it doesn't matter which department that you choose, we do have opportunities available here so that you can be successful, whether that be doing research to get that research in letters of recommendation, or to apply to grants at the URC Undergrad Research Center. We also offer TA or lab assistant opportunities that all the departments do, so that you can help fund and you can get that experience that you need. So that there's a lot of opportunities. As Rachel mentioned, we do have that pre-med committee so that you can do mock interviews. The clubs bring in recruiters so that you can meet to make sure that your application's correct for your university. But so it's pretty similar across the departments. It just depends on what your fancy is and what particular you want to do. Like for biochemistry, chemistry, you can go on to dental school, pharmacy school, and medical school, or you can do PhD. Same thing with getting a degree in biology as well. That both degrees offer a lot of diversity. It just depends on what you want to focus in on.
Great, thank you. This is really helpful information. The neat thing about your programs in terms for international students is that they're called STEM eligible when it comes to employment opportunities for when they graduate. So international students can apply for OPT, which is optional practical training, and that's 12 months of employment post-graduation in the US in your field of study. But STEM students get an additional 24 months of eligibility. And like I had mentioned earlier, I don't know for sure, but I'm 95% sure all the programs that fall in CSET are STEM eligible, which gives these students, 2 additional years of getting that hands-on career experience, which then would help them potentially apply to a graduate program or maybe get sponsored by the employer that they're working for, because again, STEM programs are a little bit more niche, and they might fit those requirements for a sponsorship. Do any of you know about any particular scholarships that are available to students in your program or your college, or are there industries or companies that fund scholarships for your students that they could apply for while studying?
Yes, lots.
Yeah.
Yes, lots.
We have college-wide, there's a ton of different scholarships for students, but each department also has their own individual scholarships that have been donated from various alumni or companies or things like that. So there are a lot of different scholarship opportunities on campus, small little ones like $500, but also really large ones. We have a scholarship on campus called the Meredith Scholars that basically is a full ride with a presidential scholarship, which is pretty close to a full ride, right? So we have a lot of different scholarship opportunities on campus.
Yeah, I think CSET does a great job in promoting the scholarships and handing out the scholarships. And if you win a scholarship, there is a nice banquet in fall where you dress up and come. It's like a gala where we hand out the awards and have dinner. I mean, the dinner itself is worth probably $100 that night. So no, but because of our connection to industry and individuals who have gone on and gotten great success because of their education at MSU, we have had great scholarship opportunities for our students.
And then each department has their own particular scholarships as well that you can apply to. The chemistry, biochemistry, geology does too. And also for research, when you're applying for those URC grants, there's an opportunity to apply to the foundation grant where the faculty member can get up to $1,000 for their to fund the research that the student will be doing, but also that that foundation grant gives $1,000 to the student so that they're able to have more time to conduct research as well. So there are other little pots around that you can apply to.
That's great. Yeah, so February is scholarship month on our campus, and the Carney Center works with the foundation too. And this year we're going to be able to give out 13 $3,500 scholarships from the Gladys Olson Foundation account, which is pretty exciting. That's a one-year scholarship, so broken up into 2 semesters, and it's pretty impactful. So I agree. We do have a lot of neat scholarships across campus and across departments. So something students should definitely take a look at. Well, I've gone through the list of things that I wanted to touch on today. I would welcome any of you to give some final thoughts or any recommendations that you have for students, and then we can let them go on their way. So again, thank you so much, faculty, for being here. It's really important for prospective students to get to actually see faculty, hear from them, and please trust us that our campus is very hands-on and faculty are very approachable. They do their office hours and they're here for you.
I just want to add from an international student perspective myself, like long time ago and now transitioning to faculty. I know when you are in a foreign country trying to come to US to study, you're always looking at the top universities, the Ivy Leagues, the great public schools and things like that. Universities like MSU is probably not heard of or low in your totem pole or whatever. But after having taught here for 9 years and after having gone through the entire education system, I will tell you this. For a small university like MSU, the kind of education you get is much cheaper and eons better than what you would get in your home country at a university. And sky is the limit once you come to MSU. I mean, you can spend a lot less of your money, get the best bang out of the buck, as we say, and get the best education, and then decide how you want to approach your career going forward. Mm-hmm. Our students have gone on to the best universities in the world, have gone on to win the best prizes in their fields. So what you get on a small campus, you can never get that experience on a larger campus. The faculty, the amount of world-class faculty we have who work directly with students, the amount of world-class equipment hours you get on our campus, you are never able to get that on a bigger university. So that's one good way to describe MSU, I would say.
Yeah, and just to echo that, you know, at a big university, you don't get to know the faculty. You're going to be in really large classes the whole time, and you don't really get to know the faculty. Mostly you're going to get to know TAs and things like that. At a place like this, you might have a big class your first year or two, but as you get on in your education, you're going to be in much smaller classes. You're going to get to know your faculty that are teaching these classes a lot better and start building those relationships. So being at a smaller institution actually gives you sometimes more opportunities because you get to interact with faculty on a more personal level. You get to be in labs and do research, which doesn't always happen at big universities for undergraduate students. So that's something that is definitely a benefit to being at a place like this. And then also, faculty are very involved in every student's education. We have mandatory advising in our department, which basically means that you would be meeting with your faculty mentor every semester to talk about your classes, your career goals, things that you should be doing to get there. And you have that relationship with your advisor to help you get to where you want to go. You won't get that at a bigger university. So that's definitely something that if you want that kind of experience, MSU is definitely going to be a great place for that.
Excellent, thank you. Alyssa just shared with me that there was a question from one of the participants who it seems they work at a US embassy in Nigeria, and they have a STEM club there, and they're wondering how can they connect with us and participate in some of our activities. And this is great. We've learned through COVID that we can do a lot of outreach and a lot of connections with people all over the world. And so I'm going to put my email address in the chat box so this person can reach back to me. And we can do specialized outreach and have even a more intimate, webinar like this with a specific site. So I know our faculty are excited to keep talking about their programs and make even better connections with students. So this would be a great opportunity for us to reconnect and go a little bit deeper. So I'll put my email in here, and I hope you do reach out and we can make some plans. Okay, are there any final thoughts anymore? Okay, again, thank you so much for joining us today, and you'll get some more information from us in email form and also more invitations to participate in opportunities like this. So again, thank you, and I hope you take care, and we hope to see you on our campus soon.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.